But there's a reason that one wasn't on. The question wasn't from.
Going on my crazy stats folk.
Crazy Stats Fan 664.
It is. It's recording the screen right now, so it can see me flipping through the pages.
Oh, that's so neat.
Yeah, I learned a cool new button. What was I can't flip and talk at the same time. Oh, because tomorrow's test, the free response question, there's only one, and the free response question is not this one, but the free response question does involve that formula you like. So you're welcome. Let's go over this Frappy, and then we'll look at, I'm specifically choosing from those questions I handed you yesterday, the multiple choice ones. I'm specifically choosing ones, and I'm going to say, this is sort of like number 1 on the test. This is sort of like number 2 on the test. I'm going to try to be nice. Although you were not very nice to yourselves, because, oh my gosh, can you understand that? Okay, something went wrong with my Google search, as is life. I know, 2002.
What device is actually recording?
It's the HoverCam software on the computer.
Oh, that's so neat.
2 airlines. Routinely. He's paying attention to my Google search.
Hello.
This is the problem with the fact that I can't do both at once. Who are you helloing to? Her name's Addison. Leave her alone. Addison. No, ignore them.
Sorry for being friendly.
Yeah.
Get that out of here. Were you just on here?
Was I just on
You
you?
were just on here. I'm
What are
pretty
you
sure.
looking for?
Go back. Go back.
But it's not going to be this because
Just
it's
go.
double
Just
blind.
go back.
Your fans don't want to
Go
watch
back. Wait, that
this.
very top one.
I did that, and
What
that's.
they asked for.
But it didn't. It only had the question itself. It didn't have the. No, it doesn't have it. Oh, it did. Oh my gosh,
Wow.
genius.
Is he Batman?
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, he can be Batman now. I don't know. You ought to stop calling me Miss Compton. I looked it up this morning and had the EPI thing and everything, so I already know the portions. But anyway, let's talk about the answers. So part A, it says there are 38 passenger seats on the flight. What is the probability that all the passengers who show up for this flight get a seat? Okay, so you're actually supposed to do what?
Just add up the ones that go to 38.
You see, I did a different thing.
Okay, that would work. Or what Sally probably did was add up the ones beyond 38 and do 1 minus that.
No, I put 3 over 38 because that's how many seats would not be like
Filled.
How many people would not have a seat? And I got 7.9% and subtracted it from 1.
Okay.
I got 30. I did 38 divided by 40.
Okay.
So I added up 4.6, 3.46, 0.30, and 0.16.
That's what I would have done because I thought that was easiest. No, but that's what he did.
Yeah, but you guys were all listing different things, and I was like, why would you do that?
I did what he did, but your ways are working. Or I would have done 1 minus the top ones. That probably would have been the most efficient because the 5% plus the 2% plus the 1% adds up to 8, so we know the answer is 92. As long as you've got the answer of 92, you get an E for that part.
If you have one.
And that is worth 1 point. So out of the 4 right now, you've got a 1.
So if I wrote there is a 92% chance that every passenger who shows up will get a seat.
Yes.
I showed my addition.
And then you're still going to get your E.
have
Literally, to get the E, you don't even have to put the words. All they're looking for is the 0.92 or 92%. As long as you have the correct percentage, you're going to get the E.
But
Okay.
it's not first, you word.
No, words, well, yeah, theoretically.
I don't
Okay.
understand the second one.
B, what is the expected number of no-shows for this flight?
I understood this one.
I don't get that one.
What'd you get?
I put 3 because I thought with 41 and 38, they're assuming that 3 people aren't going to show up.
Oh, no.
I was assuming you'd find the mean and subtract it from,
No, I read that
or from the 38.
Okay, that's what I would have done. So, what you were supposed to do, anytime you see the word expected, you're supposed to find the mean. There is a formula, it's in your formula sheet even, that explains you're supposed to take the number who show up, or whatever your x is, times the probability. So like 36 times 0.46. 37 times 0.30, 38 times 0.16. And you add all those up, and you'll have the mean. And that's what they did on part B. They added it all up, and they got a mean of 36.9 right here. And since it was 41 possible, they did 41 minus that 36.9, and that's how they got 4.1. Now, a different way to do it is the way they're showing on top. So I would have done this. This is how I think. I'm like, oh, okay, I just go the two things in the chart, 36 times 0.46. Add that to 37 times 0.30 and keep going. And that's how I would have done it. But a genius way to think of it, the plane holds 38 passengers. 36 showed up. We had everyone show up, so there were 0 no-shows. So they said maybe the number who show up 36, that means there were 0 no-shows. 37, there was 1 no-show. 38, there were 2 no-shows, 3, 4, and 5 no-shows. And they end up calculating it that way. I don't dislike this one, but I just feel like it's so much easier to do the bottom one. So I don't know. Okay, and then so that part is actually the part that could give you 2 points, depending on your answer. So did you have the answer of 4.1, and did you have some math to back it up? If you at least were trying to compute this, and you got the 36.9, but you didn't know what to do with it, so you got the mean. If you calculated the mean, you still get the P.
So what did they do after that? So we're down there, it's 41 minus 36.9?
Yes, and that's how they got 4.9.
41 meaning the total number of tickets sold.
Yes. So I'm with you. I would have probably gotten this step that's in blue. I might not have thought to this bottom part, so I would have gotten the P, because I did this part of the math. Come on. I did this part of the math. But I'm not necessarily sure I would have put the dots together to do the next step to answer their question, so I would have just gotten a P. Is there anyone who has a response or not sure what it should be scored?
No, I just did, like I said, the 41 minus 38, and I thought it was like 3 people that were assuming it weren't going to show up.
Okay, so again, if we're in this probability world, which anytime they end up giving you a table like this where they have probability and number of whatever, we're in probability land, and you see that word expected, I automatically think mean. So if you didn't do the mean, you're going to have to get an I, even though you probably made logical sense. Okay, are there any questions about part B? Okay, part B, if you got an E, you got 2 points. If you got a P, you got 1 point. If you got an I, you got 0 points. Okay, and then part C. Part C is the one that I totally understand if you didn't get it, because part C is kind of combining what we're doing now with what we did last chapter. So it's probability X is 36 given that not all the seats are filled. So you would have to use conditional probabilities, which again, I'm not saying you don't know how to do part C. I'm just saying connecting the dots in my brain to use what I used last chapter on something from this chapter. I'm not sure I would have done that today, not on a Wednesday.
It's Tuesday.
Whatever, Tuesday, exactly. Makes it even worse. Makes it even worse. Okay, so the probability, because it said specifically in the problem, given that not all passengers are filled on a flight, so hence the line and not all seats are filled. And they said, what is the probability that only 36? So we need to know 36 approximately, which we can get from our table is 0.46. And then X is less than 38. We already knew that was the 0.76 because we can add up 36 plus 37. So 0.46 plus 0.30 and get the 76 as well. It's not, the math is not hard right here. The hardest part was interpreting the words. And it's not that you can't, it's just that's what we were doing last chapter. And again, connecting the dots between chapters, that's mostly what we're going to have to work on during April and May. How do I pull all the things together? Okay, are there any major questions about this?
So, leave it up.
Yeah.
For the last one, I got 46% because I was just looking at the 36. So you're saying that when I get the 36, I need to get it out of the total number of show. That doesn't
Yes.
make any sense because it's saying that would be the only people that would show up is 36 pounds.
Well,
But it
36 out
said-
of the 38.
Yes, it's 36 out of 38, but because it said, because of that phrase at the beginning, given that not all passenger seats are filled on a flight, that's my way of knowing. Anytime I see that given that blah, 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 I know it's a conditional thing. So I know it's going to be like 36 given not all seats are filled.
Would that
That's my key to
still-
know. It's one of these kind of weirdo conditional probabilities.
Would that still be a P?
Yes.
If you got 46%.
If you got the 46%, you get the P, yes. But if you got the correct answer, you get the E. It's kind of like last chapter, which is kind of annoying. You think they're easier, but if you don't get the exact values, you're getting a loss.
What if you divided by like 92% from up to 38?
You would have gotten the P. Because it was less than, not necessarily equal to. I knew you were going to ask that. And again, I read that this morning. I saw the correct scoring guide. I don't know why I can't find it now. Oh, well. Okay, so I wanted to do some of the warm-ups that you were handed. And if you want to do it where we've done it before, where your people work on the, I don't care. What do y'all want to do? Do y'all want points today, or you just want to do math today?
I just want to do math.
Okay. Then let's go to the first one. So first of all, I think I don't mean to think, but somehow the copier.
It actually sounds like apples in here.
Thank you. The copier somehow missed a page, so I don't know if you're one of those who passed on that or would like to know all the problems. So here's the page that didn't get copied for some reason. We're not even going to use it right now. But if when you get home, you were liking to look at all the 10 problems. Okay, so Louise, turn off the heat before I die.
If I do right die.
Oh, that's
Okay,
this is
so-
reference.
Yeah.
You see, I had already copied warm-up 1 and warm-up 2, warm-up 3. Warm-up 3 had a lot more questions. You had the answers, so maybe you should have connected the dots. But hey, I'm missing a page, but it's okay. We're going to start on warm-up 1, number 3. Warm-up 1, number 3. So what I was doing while you were taking the Frappy is I was looking through the test and trying to find the most similarly correlated in the warm-ups. And warm-up 1, number 3, sort of kind of like number 1. I'll explain briefly how they're different after we get the answer.
Sort of number 5. Sort of number 1.
How do you get the mean?
Have all of the x values and you multiply it by their respective probabilities.
Yeah, so literally I'm going to do 0 times 0.2 plus 1 times 0.6 plus 2 times 0.2. And I'm supposed to get, my answer is supposed to be
1.6. 0.2. 1.2.
You got 1.2?
No, I'm just saying. What's the answer?
That would be the correct answer.
Dang it.
Now, why would we not have wanted to guess 1?
Because it seems so simple.
I know, and we don't expect the mean to add up to 1.
Of course.
What is supposed to add up to 1?
Probability.
The probability should add up to 1. The 0.6, 0.2, 0.2 all up to 1. But Alex is right. That's 0.6. That ends up being 0.4. 0.6 plus 0.4 is 1. In which, no offense, but I guess that kind of makes sense. Our options were 0, 1, or 2. 1 is happening 60% of the time. Duh, why isn't it the expected 1?
Is that in the basket thing?
Yes, it is. Sorry. Yes, it's 2 pages. Okay, so while he's going, let me tell you the secrets while he's not paying attention. No, 1 on the test is sort of like this, except they don't actually tell you like this value. I think they put like a C.
But I mean, you
And
can
they-
figure that
Yeah,
out.
you can figure that out. So it's something like this where I think they're both C's. Or like something where it's like 1 C and 2 C. You can figure it out. You know they're supposed to add up to 1. And so like if this was the case where it's 1 C, 2 C, and 0.6, 1C plus 0.6 plus 2C, you know it's all supposed to add up to 1. So you can still figure out what that variable is just because you know probabilities are supposed to add up to 1. So that's the only slight difference. Is they use a variable, but I got my brain. Probabilities add up to 1, I can figure that out.
Can you repeat that?
Yes. So they don't actually use the probabilities, they put in a variable. You need to solve for the variable first to figure out the probabilities. But you know the probabilities add up to 1, so you can figure it out pretty quickly. Probably without even listing it out like this.
What?
Like 1C, and I changed that to 2C, so 1C plus 0.6C plus 2C adds up to 1. And now I could solve, so 3C equals 0.4.
Would it be 0C? For the first one?
1C? I put 1C.
How would it be 1C?
I was making it up. I was making up a counter problem.
Yeah, but it would still, when you multiply by 0, it would still equal 0.
Yeah, I'm not doing the expected, just the probabilities.
Oh,
Like how to
okay.
solve for a variable given. Like, but it's, okay. He understands, he's on board now. Is everyone else on board? Okay. So the one that's sort of kind of like number 2 of the test is on the next page. It's warm up to number 5. Sort of being a big stretch. In fact, the one on the test, I think it's a lot easier.
So if we can do this, we can do that one, right?
Absolutely. The answer is supposed to be Z.
Yes,
But why?
is
How do you get that?
normal distribution, and then 400 to infinity. 400 for a while.
400 for a while.
Or you could do the z-scoring, yeah.
If you wanted to do the Z-score, you could. Let's back up to how he knew. What is that? If he's doing normal CDF, was this a discrete or continuous variable? He's doing normal CDF. Is this a discrete or continuous variable?
Continue.
It is, and there was a key thing that let him know it was supposed to be continuous. Besides the fact that profit is probably changing all the time anyway. It varies, I get that. But there was a key word for him to know.
Assume x is normal?
The normal, yeah. They said assume normal. So I assumed normal curve, so I was like, oh crap, we gotta find the area under the curve. I know the mean is 360. They asked for greater than 400. Yeah, I did terrible, but it's okay. Okay, normal CDF, we've got to do what inside the parentheses? That's the code we're typing on the calculator.
Upper bound, lower bound, and then
The lower bound, the upper bound, and then what?
the meaning of the same deviation.
Okay, so I'm going to do lower bound of 400, upper bound of something really, really big, like one with a bunch of zeros.
77.
Yeah, that's a ton of zeros. 360 for my mean, and my standard deviation is 50. But do you actually have to show all this work? No. You don't. You just have to get the answer. The one on the test, I believe, is a discrete variable, but I've been wrong before. So it shouldn't be this complicated.
And there's just like 68%. And it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yes. Okay, number 3, the sort of like number 3. Where did I write that? Sort of like number 3 is warm up 3, number 5. These are the ones you decided you didn't like for, I don't really remember why. You just decided you didn't like them.
It looks awful. I don't like
You don't like it when they do that, I know. Okay, so here's Albert's game. You give him $10 each time you roll, and he pays you in dollars the amount that comes up on the dice. If P is the amount money you gain each time in a roll, the mean and standard deviation of P are blah. Oh my goodness. The answer is supposed to be, well, number 3, number 5, it's supposed to be C. Okay, how many sides are in a? 6, so I can make $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, and $6, right?
Yeah.
But that's not true, is it?
No.
How much did I pay him to begin with?
10
So I'm actually not making $1. How much did I actually lose?
$9 and then $8. So. This is a bad deal. Let me do this.
I don't know. So the purple is what I rolled. And then, so this is positive or negative? Aren't I in the hole?
I mean, yeah.
What I owe, what I made, my profit. So if you roll a 6, you're still down $4 because you gave him $10 to begin with.
It's each time you roll, too. Just.
Mm-mm.
It just seems like a bad deal.
It is. It's a terrible deal. I don't know why he made this deal.
Albert. Oh, maybe it's because Albert's real smart. He's just like, oh, dude, you give me $10 for every time you roll, I'll give you whatever it's going to die.
I feel like there's something missing from this problem because I feel surely you weren't dumb enough to take this deal.
I mean, Albert's a smart kid. His name's Albert.
I think surely there were 2 dice.
Ow. Ow.
Wow.
Weird Al.
I don't think we could get that mean. I think if we were to calculate this average, it would obviously be around negative 6.5. Right now I'm losing $6.5.
I thought what you would do would be like something like they're each, 1 out of 6 chance of getting them. And so somehow that would come into play. I still wasn't sure how that would work though. So I guess 1 out of 6 chance of getting,
So he
one.
thinks,
Yeah. Then you multiply it by that for each of them, and then you get your mean.
okay.
But that's still, I'm not sure if that will work.
So he's saying the red is what I could potentially make, and then the bottom 1 out of 6 is the probability of making that. So to finding that expected value, maybe I should do like, there's a 1 in 6 chance I can make negative $9. There's a 1 in 6 chance I can make negative $8. There's a 1 in 6 chance I can make negative $7.
You
And so
the
forth.
number way bigger than me, so I'm not 100% sure. Maybe you subtract that from, no, that won't matter.
I think this is a poorly worded problem, honestly. I really think that they were rolling 2 dice, because if there were 2 dice, then there's potential that a 6 plus a 6 is a 12, so there is potential that you could potentially make a $2 profit.
Yeah.
I don't see any game where people are willing to play where there's no chance for them to make a profit. And I especially don't see how on earth the answer could be a positive 1.6 when clearly you're in the hole regardless. So we're going to let this one go. I lied when I said it's sort of like number 3, because number 3 is not that hard. In fact, let me consult number 3 and make sure me and number 3 are on the same page. Number 3 says,
Survey says.
It's a little dull.
Luis, what does your sweatshirt say?
Get Shanash. Get Shanash. That was real.
number 3 told you this. Ooh. Okay, so it's similar to a different one. So number 3 is also similar to when we were going to work later anyway. So we'll just go to it now. And number 4 is sort of kind of like number 4. Let's pray number 4 is not bad. So the issue is that what we're wanting to see on the number 3 on the test is they tell you about this can machine, and they tell you how many drinks they sell, and then they tell you they actually make 30 cents per drink. So how does that change the expected value and the standard deviation?
Can machine meaning
Like a drink machine, sorry, a drink machine. And they sell like 120 cans a day, but they make 30 cents per can. So what was their actual profit? You gotta calculate that, and then what is their standard deviation? It's not that deep. I swear none of this chapter is that deep. We just want to make it deep. Okay. Insert tab A into slot B is something you might read in the assembly instructions for prefabricated bookshelves. Suppose that tab A varies in size according to a normal distribution on a mean of 30 and a standard deviation of 0.5. And the size of slot B is also normally distributed with a mean of 32 and a standard deviation of 0.8. The two parts are randomly and independently selected fractioning. What is the probability that tab A won't fit into slot B? Okay, I'm not even going to answer their exact question. I'm going to ask a different one. If we're given two means, and they asked us to add them together, do we literally just add them?
Yes.
Yes. So if we're given means, so I'm going to call that mu x, I'm going to call that mu y. We literally just add them, and so it'd be 30 plus 32, which is 62. If we're given two standard deviations, which we are, one standard deviation is 0.5. The other standard deviation is 0.8. Am I supposed to add those and just get 1.3?
No.
There was a formula. What was the formula?
You square them all. And
square them all.
You do
Yeah.
square them, but why could most of the time I not actually use the formula? What does the problem have to say in order for me to get to use it?
But it says they are, so it's fine.
Did it?
It says independently selected.
Okay, so we could probably actually solve this one. Too bad it's 258, so I need to move on. Okay, sort of like number 4. It's normally distributed, so you can do the normal curve of both. In fact, averaging. Roll with this and keep going.
Where I don't know what else to do.
If you've got the new standard deviation,
Yeah.
and then say you've got the new mean, why can't you normal CDF for the new standard deviation and the new mean?
I didn't read the problem, so I'm not sure what it's supposed to do.
Okay, that would be the difference. Read the problem and then use the normal, because it's a normal curve.
Gotcha.
Okay, the only other one that would be mandatory that you absolutely want to think about before you come back tomorrow and take a test, which I swear you will survive. How to find the area for a continuous random variable. You have to find the area under the curve. The one on the test is not a rectangle. It's like our notes. It's a triangle. And then last but not least, is the standard deviation. We could have calculated that.
Consider the following. Okay.
Yeah, the only other one I would say we need to do is this one. There's one or two questions on the multiple choice that I couldn't find a correlation to, but Louise clearly understands what to do in the independent part, and I swear there's a multiple choice question exactly like that. The only other one would be a game. And the one that's a game is not this complicated, because in this one you have to figure out the value of x, and on the other one they tell you the game and just ask you to calculate the expected value. So can you calculate expected values? Do you know what to do if we're supposed to take two expected values at the same time about adding them together and dealing with their standard deviations? And then I promise you that the Frappy is binomial words.